Hello, today we're going to have a little discussion on kind of some of the sensors that go into adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, kind of the functionality, where they're placed, how the sensors react with one another and give input to the computers on board. We're going to start here at the front end of the vehicle. Now, some vehicles with adaptive cruise control will have a radar sensor. Some you can see from the bottom. Sometimes they'll be mounted in this direction or down in this area here, the bottom. Tesla, Fiat Chrysler products, that's kind of where it is, kind of below the license plate frame. GM, in particular this Cadillac, mounts it behind this Cadillac symbol. It's a fairly thin symbol, and it doesn't affect the projection of the radar at all. I've taken the liberty to take off these caps and things like that to just remove out of the way so you guys can see just where this sensor sits and how it's important. Okay, so what I've done is I've already removed this sensor, the radar sensor, from the bracket inside. First of all, this is the front view of the sensor. You can see there's a 12-pin connector here. This is what the radar sensor looks like. Now, if I flip it around, you can see the three lug studs that it sits inside this bracket, mounted right behind the grill. So I'll stick my flashlight on here, and you can kind of see in here. Okay, so this sensor has to be mounted in a stationary position. If you encounter a front-end collision, things like that, this is an additional part that needs to be checked to make sure that everything is straight and true. You can see the top bolts for the bracket mount here, and then there's another bracket down at the bottom of the front of the radiator support. So that's just kind of what the bracket looks like, and you can see the 3 holes there, 2 on this side, 1 on this side. That's where the sensor mounts. And again, it's in a fixed position. It needs to be, and this is just what it looks like. Continental is a Tier 1 supplier that supplies a lot of sensors, technology to the OEMs. Okay, so now you can kind of see where it is, what it looks like. Also, these proximity sensors or ultrasonic sensors, okay, fairly common to see those on most vehicles these days. They're mounted in the front and the rear of the bumpers. Sometimes you'll see sensors that are mounted here on the side too. Depending on the manufacturer, they'll either have a camera mounted under here, or they'll just utilize the sensors on the front and rear bumpers. And you can see them here as well. The newest model of Tesla, or the newest generation of Autopilot, has a camera actually mounted in the pillar of the door here. So that just is kind of and it is angled to actually show footage of blind spot detection rather than use a sensor. So in addition to hunting for the sensor externally, or trying to figure out what's going on externally on the vehicle, most of the time you sit in the driver's seat of the vehicle. Again, we'll just power the vehicle on here. On the left side of the steering wheel are your steering wheel controls for your cruise control. I'll dismiss this, dismiss this, dismiss this. Okay, so again, here's your regular cruise control switch. It turns it on. And then here is your adaptive feature for the cruise control. Now, when you select this button, you'll see in the display come up, and this is the gap, or the distance between the car in front of you. So we can adjust that to either far, medium, or near. Okay, and then again, this is just the following distance. So as far as functionality goes, if you were to drive down the freeway and set your cruise control and then adjust your gap to the far setting, if you had something or someone pull in front of you, it would reduce your speed to the following speed of the car in front of you. Or it would just, if the car moves, it will again speed up to where you originally set your cruise control. Okay, so that's as far as the functionality and the switches for that. They're found right on the steering wheel, or sometimes they're over here, or sometimes there's an additional column switch that pops out from the column for adaptive cruise control or autopilot function, whatever the manufacturer desires to call it. Right over here's your lane departure warning. Sometimes this is incorporated with lane keep assist. The difference between the two is the lane keep assist will actually correct and keep you in the lane. The lane departure warning only warns you if you're drifting out of the lane. Again, most of the time you'll have a slight vibration of the steering wheel when those events occur. Sometimes if you have a veering occur, sometimes you'll feel a vibration in the seat. Sometimes the steering wheel will be really hard to move until you finally signal, and then the steering loosens up and allows you to steer. Again, most of these vehicles have all electric power steering, which gives them the ability to auto-correct or to hold in a certain position. Some vehicle manufacturers will, even if you're driving on a road with a heavy crown and you're constantly trying to keep the wheel turned, the advanced features in the steering column and the sensors will actually adjust for that road crown and then allow the steering wheel to go back straight and kind of keep you on the road or on the crown of the road. So that's kind of a neat feature as well, that because of the implementation of all electric power steering. I will tell you one other thing. You may be able to see that in the mirror. This little car here, and then a little star symbol. Now, if you do have a vehicle in your blind spot, whether it be on the driver's side or passenger side, that will illuminate and just allow you to know that there's something in your blind spot. Again, some vehicles have bigger blind spots than others. Sometimes the B pillars are a lot thicker and you can't really see, but so that's generally that's pretty standard across the industry. They'll have a light that illuminates in either the driver's side rear view mirror or the passenger side rear view mirror that will allow you to know that there's something in your blind spot. So you can see that car there. In a way, it's kind of a redundancy, so you have input from the camera and also input from the radar sensor. Both of those are then sent back to the computer and processed, and either, depending on the input, cruise control is then either commanded off or speed is reduced until an object in front of the vehicle moves, and then at that point in time cruise control is increased to the cruising speed before the object appeared. So